1st, January's over, 2024, we're going to start the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, National Grid poll hearing for Interlaken Road. Anybody here from National Grid?
On the screen.
I'm here.
Hi, just want to let us know what you're doing.
Sure, I have two poll petitions. Which one would you guys want to talk about? There's one for Sargent Street, it's an underground poll petition, and then the other one is one for Interlaken Road.
Interlaken Road's first on our agenda, so let's do that one.
Okay, yeah, I'll talk about Interlaken. Basically, it's gonna be a new pole, a service pole across from 204, and it's just for a new service.
He wants his picture on record.
Yep.
No, they don't want to show him. They're showing them.
Hi, Shirley, can you mute?
I'm going to mute all, and then Donald, if you could unmute yourself. All right.
You there?
I'm still here if you're talking.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we're proposing from National Grid a service pole across from the road pole 204, and it's just for the new service for 21A Interlaken Road.
Okay.
That's a pole and an anchor side of road for 21A. It's a new service.
Good. Okay, any comments from the board?
Nope.
Any comments from the public? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve the Interlaken Road telephone pole, utility pole.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the second one's on Sargent Street.
Yes. So for Sargent Street, this is proposing from National Grid a new handhole to reach for 21 Sargent Street and 23. So what happened is the underground network in this area is older, and 23 needs a handhole on their side of the road because there's a handhole crossing the street, and I guess like back in the day, they had a handhole that's going across the street. So we're proposing a handhole to feed them on their side of the road for Sargent Street.
You'll be crossing the road.
We'll be crossing Sargent Street. We'll need like civil work done. To set like a 1 3-inch conduit and a handhole on the side of the road from the existing handhole. I don't know if you guys have the print that
we have that.
Yeah. So just to go more specific, there's the existing handhole. That should be like it's a green rectangle. That's the existing one on the far side from 23 and 21, and then the blue rectangle is the newly proposed handhole that's going to be feeding between the property lines of 23 and 21. And then the line is just for us to get conduit to run a secondary conductor between the two handholes. That's where we're proposing the new handhole and conduit to get secondary cable from under the road to that new handhole location.
Any comment from the board?
I have this is a question. It's not even a request, but it's just in other parts of town right now because of the historic sensitivity of this area. We've had, situations where the Mohegan tribe is asked to just have a person present to sift through any disturbed ground that might be pulled up, not to interrupt the project, but just to make sure if there's any artifacts that they're there to retrieve them. They have a historic preservation officer. Is that something you've ever done on Main Street, or is there not enough disturbance? I don't know much about digging poles, so this could be a stupid question.
Not on Main Street specifically. So we do have an environmental department, and what we do is on our end as engineers, we'll go on to like mapper, and we'll check for like wetlands or natural habitat. Like what's it called? It's like natural habitat, rare species. So we'll look for in like environmental concerns. In terms of like archaeological, there's another database we can go through too. I didn't see any type of native land type of disturbance area on this street alone. It is sometimes like we would have to go and like on the database to like look for any like archaeological or like historical burial grounds. I guess you didn't say. I didn't notice it to ping it for this address. This is on the left side of like the Austin Riggs mental facility. It's on the left side. It's a side street from Main Street over there. And I personally didn't notice anything that was archaeological.
And how much ground disturbance is there?
It's not gonna be much.
No.
No, usually we have a civil contractor, and they're trained and dig safe, and they're a pretty good contractor, so it should be fine. We're only doing about like 55 feet from the existing handhole that's on one side of Sargent Street to the property line between 23 and 21. It shouldn't be that much disturbance. It's just so we can get I think 23 was doing like a service upgrade, and they had like a direct buried cable that they can't surface, so they need us as the utility company to give them power to the frontage of their property.
Okay, any other comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Seeing none, make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, now,
I gotta,
accept the termination of lease of the old town hall, AKA Proctor Hall. It's a long time in coming.
Do you want any other information at this point?
Was that, do we read the motion first, or? Do we read the motion first, or do we go to?
Yeah, we can do a motion and discussion.
Okay, so I gotta read this first. I move that the town release any and all fee or leasehold rights it may have in Proctor Hall pursuant to the lease dated May 4th, 1902, and recorded in the Berkshire Registry of Deeds at Book 318, page 313. Such lease subject to the revisionary interest in the grantor's First Congregational Church of the United Church of Christ when the grantee town ceased to use the Proctor Hall as town hall. The town does not and will not use Proctor Hall as a town hall, and therefore any and all rights under the lease are extinguished.
Second.
Okay, comments?
Attorney Egan representing First Congregational Church, UCC, Stockbridge. More importantly, Pastor Brett Damrow is here with us, as well as Teresa O'Brien, the president of Berkshire Waldorf High School. And we presented the notice of termination of lease, in as much as we have a signed purchase and sale agreement the church does with the school, which is scheduled to close tomorrow, or really on the terms of the agreement right after this is signed, assuming the release and termination of lease is signed. And since, as the chairman stated, since the building is no longer used as town hall, we've requested a termination of the lease. So if you have any questions for me or Pastor or Teresa, we're happy to answer those questions.
Any comments from the public? Seeing none,
The vote?
I'll vote to approve.
And second.
Hi, Chuck.
Aye. Aye, Jamie.
So we just need to sign.
Thank you very much, and I wish the school the best of luck in your endeavor. I think it's great for the town as a whole. I'm so glad that the school is staying in Stockbridge. Dealt with through different reasons with the school and stuff, and it's been a pleasure, dealing with you, and the students are just great for the town. So thank you.
Good luck. Right, who's next?
Okay, approved conditional offer of employment for Stockbridge Police Department.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hey, chief.
How are you doing, Chief? Well, not you.
Thank you for allowing us to come tonight. Yeah, so I'm here to ask for your approval and signage of one conditional offer of full-time employment for a full-time police officer. Fill the one vacancy we have left. The process, we had seven applicants. We whittled it down to 3. We had 3 interviews set. One gentleman dropped out shortly before the interview. He accepted a position with the Berkshire County Sheriff's Department. So we had 2 to interview 2 weeks ago. And we chose Ken Pettibone. Ken comes from the Hinsdale Police Department. He's also worked for Beckett Police Department and Otis Police Department in the past. I think he started out years and years ago with Great Barrington. So he's familiar with the area. He actually, growing up as a kid, spent a lot of time with family down on Park Street. So he knows our town. I think he'd be a really good fit with our department and the personnel we have now. His former chiefs that he's worked for both gave him rave reviews. So we're excited to have him with your approval.
Now, that you're going to be full staff, that will allow Sergeant Nichols to move up to the position.
That's correct.
To be created.
Yep, so Ken would move into a patrol position. Sergeant Nichols would then move out of a patrol position and into the investigator type, administrative type of position, where he'll handle most of the side jobs that we have, fleet maintenance, inventory, property room, radar trailers, things like that. So, and also any big investigations we have. For example, if one of the midnight officers caught a big case, it's hard for them to investigate the cases properly because they can't get a hold of people during their shift. So that slack would be picked up by Sergeant Nichols during the day shift, or, it's flexible where he would be, as, wherever the cases take him will be his hours. So he won't have set hours, but we'll have a flexible schedule. Yeah.
Okay, any comments from the board? Seeing none, I'll make a motion that we accept the applicant. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Ken.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Around.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, congratulations.
Stockbridge Chamber of Commerce signs. Think of the 2 guys.
Tag teams.
Standing or sitting in the
Yeah.
room. So the 3 of us are here. We have Pam Boudreau.
Pull from shares this day.
Okay. Yeah, we're here to represent the chamber. And Pam is the president of the chamber. And Barb Zanetti, as you're aware, is the executive director, here helping out as well. So we're here to talk about the signage. And the signage for the municipal signage goes back a ways. It goes back to 2017. And in 2017, this was promoted and it was approved that we were going to improve the directional signage in town. It took a couple of years to get off the ground, but in 2019, the chamber took a little bit more active role to get the signage in place. And in 2019, we were able to get the sign on Elm Street installed.
Took a while.
And that was the first one, yep. And that was more of a directional signage for the local Elm Street, Maple Street area. And now we need to expand it to include more areas of interest throughout the town. It's to help cars from driving in circles, or also if they're in town, they might not know about certain areas of attractions. And so it might help promote visitations while they're already here in town. So with that being said, we've been working on this. We've met with multiple town officials, including the highway department and Michael. And I guess we're here to present 3 different locations throughout the town.
We initially had 4 locations, but we found the location that we wanted on, we presented 4 locations years ago. These signs are cultural destination signs, so it's not municipal signs. The intersection of the firehouse was basically wouldn't work because the sight line for cars coming and going in the intersection's a tough intersection to begin with. So we nixed that one. We had 2 other locations, which was on Pine Street, then one on Church Street. And we wanted to put one out on Hawthorne all along to kind of stake our ground of Tanglewood being in Stockbridge.
Oh, now Tanglewood's a Barrington.
Or is there one in here for that?
Yes,
Yes, there is.
yes, there is.
Yeah, and I like to say, Hugh Page did a great job. He met with us. He actually installed some plywood signs that were similar to the size of this, to make sure we didn't have any view shed, we didn't want to impede any.
So this is at Gold Medals.
Yes.
Yes.
So thanks for Hugh for helping to help develop these
Great with everything.
signs.
We do also have a new designer as well then from the one on Elm Street. The designer that we're working with is Pixley Signs. And her company does all the signs for Tanglewood, for Palo, and many different areas throughout Berkshire County. And she might be working with the cemetery committee because you guys are doing signs in the cemetery. Am I correct on that, Patrick?
Yeah.
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 So knowing if we are able to do these signs and other signs with the same company, we might be able to have them at least, uniformed.
Okay.
What is different about these signs too, other than the Elm Street, is like they're interchangeable. So we can remove a sign or add.
Oh, like this little.
Yeah, they can be just pulled up and a new insert be put in, so they can be changed if need be at any time.
And a more durable product.
Yes.
As well. The one on Elm Street was wood.
Wood.
And you can see already where they re-whacked down below.
And what's the size of this? It's like what, around 6x2, 6x3, 8x3?
I have them.
This is something that has to go to planning board?
That was kind of the direction of my question, yeah, exactly.
Originally, it was municipal directional signs were not even anything.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't believe they are, so.
okay.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say too, like on number 2, this is across from the Children's Time Tower. You'll notice when you drive down there, there's already a couple signs, like I think the Norman Rockwell has a sign, the DDG has a sign.
They'll come down.
So theoretically, theirs are going to come down to be replaced by something that's consistent throughout the town.
Okay.
Yeah, they have to come down. We can't have this plus those and.
Yeah.
It'll be messy.
And I know the one area we would have liked to put a sign was near the fires, but there's just
No.
with sight lines and everything else, there's just.
And that was where Hugh was, instrumental by bringing the plywood.
Someday when we design an intersection to make fit.
That's right. Rotary.
Yes, you brought a 4x8 sheet of plywood and we held it up and went, oh no, we
Maybe not.
can't put that there.
10 foot high.
Mostly if it doesn't get approved. So are looking for specific comments? I have a couple of thoughts.
Yes.
And it's me, so take them with a grain of salt if you like.
Yeah.
My first thought is there any way for this one to be maybe in front of the pine tree or just somewhere on the cat and dog side, I'm a little bit concerned about it interrupting the sight lines to the Soldiers Monument and how people might think about that.
Well, and that's what, we looked at all different locations, and being to the right there, if you're at the Red Lion Inn intersection waiting to make a turn there, it'd be directly ahead. It's not really in front of the sight lines of the monument.
If you're sitting in traffic, it is.
If you were sitting in traffic.
Like if you were literally going north on Route 7 and you're coming into town, then you're going to see the sign, like let's say your car's right here.
Yeah, well, that's exactly,
I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just raising it because I know people are going to raise it because the Stockbridge and the monuments are like, the gold standard of
That's
importance.
why we moved the one
Yeah.
on Church Street off of, because we were going to have it at the intersection where that
Okay.
monument is.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah, I mean, so that's the thing is, I think this was the safest place. I don't think it was put there
not a deal killer.
not to impede the view site. I mean, if you start putting it over by the cat and dog fountain, you're not going to be able to see left.
Well, we were thinking of putting it as you came into town before the tree. So you're coming in and
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
you see
too.
it. But then we saw that there's the mass directional signs, keep left, keep right.
But then
there?
you're not
Yeah.
stopped there either.
Right, and they're moving
Yeah.
to it.
You're
Yeah.
moving a pretty good clip there, you're not gonna read it.
Yeah. But then,
At least here you stop.
This one was a little difficult too. The other two are pretty,
Yeah, that was,
that's
when
why-
there was a question, and that's why Michael asked
Well,
us to
nothing's
do a
set in stone. If it
Photoshop.
goes up
just-
and it's not right, it can always be moved.
Yes, I could.
So it's not like we prove it at some point that it's 100%
Yeah.
there.
And that's the thing is, I don't think it's going to be in the sight lines, Patrick, and I think that we could, if it doesn't work, we can always make adjustments to it. Maybe if it was half the height and double the width, maybe that'd be better. But,
and my second question is, have you done, there's all sorts of studies around required font size based on distance, and specifically the sign, because it is across, it's not facing the traffic going east-west, it's facing the traffic going north-south. And being across the way, if you're 2 or 3 cars back, are you going to be able to read this while you're stopped there? Because, I just know that there's like all sorts of studies on how big fonts have to be in order to be able to be seen, and that's across that wide intersection is got to be 30 or 40 feet, right?
yeah.
20 feet, I don't know.
It'll be less when we're done with it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I think we have to balance what could be seen might not be aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And I would hate to have something that is really functional, but would be really ugly. So,
Kind of a
well, yeah, that's,
between.
yeah, I mean, that'd be only my
Semi-functional,
concern.
but really looks nice, but like I
Yeah.
said, you put something that you can read, then it's gonna be a massive sign.
Yeah.
It's not gonna look good.
And I would say, I'd like to just point out that we did, when we were looking at which routes to use, we were trying to keep everybody on the state roads and not use the back roads. So we're trying to minimize traffic over secondary roads.
Yeah, I see that, because Tanglewood's 7.4 miles this way, and it's only.
Right, and that's the thing. So we could have, Tanglewood could have gone up Prospect.
I know.
Now you're saying on my road.
No, actually,
I'm not signing that.
actually, if you look at it, actually is going up 183. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, actually, hold on. No, that's the other way. No, it is going up your road.
It's fine. It's a state highway.
Yeah.
The only one that's having them is on Hawthorne. We are directing them back down Hawthorne to
Well, that's-
Prospect instead of going
have to.
out to Botanical Gardens down and around.
I mean, that's not an issue.
And so you're putting them on Route 7 for Tanglewood,
Correct.
not on 183.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think that's the way, there's a state sign in
Yeah.
the area that points them that way.
Because that has got to be the longest way around.
Yeah.
And it
We're not-
puts the traffic
It is.
right on the main part of Main Street that is always backed up. I mean, is it better
We
than?
can do whatever you want.
I don't-
It's
I'm
just
not-
that that's what DOT has for the signs is
Well, worst
Tanglewood.
comes to worst, you just take that sign out and you put the miles in the other different
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
it's
we
all-
would love to not have to
anything
have
could
it
be
go
changed.
out and around.
I mean,
7.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so the nice thing is that these things are all interchangeable. So
Yep.
again, if we find the font
Right.
size is not correct or something is not
I get it.
legible, we can always,
If you want to change the direction of something, you can change the direction.
yeah, and that's the beauty of just slipping these
So
things
if we
in and
find
out.
something needs to be
And
added.
then just the other general comment on the Main Street signs is where some of these are seasonal, like, then they're not open in the winter. It might be nice to build a couple of trails as signs, like we've got some iconic trails that you could point people to, in this area it could be, I mean, at least for the south pointing sign, it could be like, Ice Glen and trails and whatever. I'm just saying that you've got lots of nature stuff that people come into town for, and we might want to direct people to some of those, especially as opposed to, you got a couple of empty spots anyway on one of them.
That's what I was gonna say, you know what?
Yeah.
These signs do have room for
Yeah.
growth of locations, so.
We just have to be conscious of, what we're going to do. If these are cultural destination signs, then that's cultural destinations, and if we're gonna add anything, we wanna just stick with certain things
I wanna
instead
go
of just
past
keep.
that.
Right.
You start doing B&Bs and you start.
Right.
Well, these are for profits,
Right.
but if it's trails owned by nonprofits, or if it's a cultural destination for nonprofit, I mean, why do people come to town? They come to town for nature
Right.
and for the cultural destination.
Right.
So I don't see.
Well, we
I'm just-
thought about
yeah.
the Stockbridge Bowl, we thought
Yeah.
about, all the hiking trails.
Yeah.
And then last minute, our designer put them in alphabetical order where we have them in mileage.
Proximity.
Yeah. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that. I mean, to me, this is a directional sign.
People start at the top and read down.
Well, I mean, so if you're sitting, let's say you're sitting you're on Hawthorne, up by Tanglewood, I think it would make most sense to sort of say, hey, geez, I got Cropalo coming up next, I have.
All right.
I think distance seems to be the most logical
Right,
to me.
me too.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Okay, so
One last one. Oh, no, that was, okay, good.
anything?
No, I like it.
I like it.
And it was well thought
What
out.
I'd like to do is you give it to Mike and put it on the website,
Is it just
And-
PDFs, or Brian?
Yep, PDFs are,
and we'll
And I
get
have
public input.
Yep.
We'll schedule a meeting
want to put it on the next meeting for let people
next meeting. I
have
think it's plenty of time. It's 2 weeks.
2 weeks for people to,
That'll give you
Okay.
time to get going on it in middle of
Yeah.
February.
Remember when you order it, the foot is the one quote, not the two quote, because I saw in Spinal Tap that time where they ended up with the stuff that was this tall.
Okay, so we'll put this on the February 15th meeting for final approval.
Can we post these to the town website so that people can?
Yeah, I'll send that
Gonna send me the-
tomorrow.
I had a long day,
Well, I
sorry.
wanted to change
tomorrow,
the-
but we'll
so
put it
it's
on Monday.
Mileage
But
order
I think they're
first.
very nice there.
Thank you.
Were you doing any of the entrance ones? Because I know when we talked, you had the entering stuff page also. Or are we just focused on
Just
this?
this right
All
now,
right.
yeah.
Entering Stockbridge, home of Tanglewood.
Yes.
The article the other day, Tanglewood's in Barrington now.
Tanglewood,
They
Stockbridge
claim,
campus.
they claim Tanglewood.
Everybody's claiming Tanglewood.
And Hawthorne, and the Hawthorne Cottage, which is like, the guy never stepped foot in Lennox. No offense to Lennox, I love Lennox.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Very
they,
good. Thank you
guys,
for
I
your
appreciate
attention.
your time.
okay, we're going to an executive session to discuss strategy with respect to the collective bargaining with the police and DPW unions, and the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining of the public body, and we will not
Hey,
be
Doug, you all
going
set?
out into public session after. Do you have a second?
We need
Second,
Aye, Chuck?
hi, Jamie.